Okay, these are the 4 menus that you have for your handheld. Number 1, well, it's kind of hard to see, but you guys, as soon as the class is over, you guys can come up and absolutely play with this thing. One is going to be view settings. That's only going to show you, it's not going to allow you to edit anything. It'll just show you what coins are enabled. It'll tell you what their pulse width is. It'll tell you what their sensitivity is set at. Now, on some manufacturers, you can take a sensitivity screw and actually open up the window. Ours, you cannot open up the window at all. The window is as wide as you're going to get it when you get it from the factory. You can tighten the window, but you cannot make it wider. This will show you all your settings. It'll also show you your pulse width, how long your pulse width is. Like 50 milliseconds on, 50 milliseconds off, or 100 on, 300 off, or 50 on, whatever the case, whatever it was set for. Because each manufacturer is going to ask for a different pulse. That's where you view all your settings. Number 2 is change coins. That's mainly what the thing you're going to do the most of. All you have to do is plug this unit in, push number 2, it'll tell you what coin is turned on, and then it'll say, do you want to continue? Yes. Then it turns around and says, what coin would you like to turn on? So you push 25. Everything's in penny increments. So if you want to turn on a nickel, it's 5. You want to turn on $1, it's 100. So if I turn on 25, it'll say, okay, 25 cents. It'll say done. And then it'll come back to this menu again. Now that unit's enabled for quarters. No changes, no hardware changes, no screws to turn, no adjustments, no calibration, nothing. Just turn the coin on, automatically turns the previously turned on coin off. You're ready to close the door and fly. Straightforward. 3 is change sensitivity. Sensitivity is basically just what it is. Just like a sensitivity screw you'd find on some of the different models they have out there. There's basically 4 settings. You only can play with 3. It's going to be narrow, medium, or wide. Wide is where it's always set. That's a factory setting. If you did take a slug or did take a bogus coin, you could turn around and go to that coin or that channel and change it to medium. I've never seen so far anybody have to go to narrow. And I've only seen medium once. And it was a pretty strange looking coin. I couldn't even tell what country it was from. But we can knock that right out just by going to medium. And if it was something that was really, really good, and God forbid you had to go to narrow, at least you could. At that point, if it did take a toke, or it did take a bad token or a bad coin, if you can get us a sample of the coins, we would pre-write the software for it, and then you would just download that software into your validators. Same way you would do with a bill validator if you had a counterfeit. You give the counterfeits to the manufacturer, they write a software to counter it, and then they would implement that and then issue the software back to you so you can put it on your floor. We would do the same thing. Tokens. You can absolutely do tokens on the fly on this. But the thing is, there's a password that protects you to get into that mode. So now management has to get involved. So nobody could just run out and bogusly turn around and, put in a Russian penny or put in a Peruvian dime. Whatever the case may be. Something that that nobody in Vegas is going to have in their pocket. And you go up and you turn around and you say, okay, I want it to be worth 999 credits. You take that same and you stick it in a $5 machine. Ooh, dangerous. But it's theoretically possible. With ours, it's possible too, but it's not possible without management knowing. Another good thing about this, which is probably the best thing because this is what got us actually approved in every single state except for Mississippi is pending and Detroit is pending. Everybody else, we're already approved in all 50 states. Well, I can't say 50 states, 48 states. Sorry about that. They can't be no more anal than New Jersey. Because New Jersey is even worse. But at least New Jersey approved it.
New Jersey's already so it could be.
Yeah, really. This has a really good feature in it. Every single time you plug this into a unit, one, it's got a rechargeable battery. And it's got a plain old, small little power pack that you'd find for a cell phone. Plug it right in. It's got 2 lights on the front. And it tells you whether it's charged. Red would be blinking, means it's charging. Red off and green on, fully charged. You can get roughly 2,000 machines out of one charge. So you can pretty much do like 3/4 of your floor on just one charge if the units are plugged into the machine. Because every time you plug this into the game, this is also charging the battery also when you plug it into the game, if the game is powered up. Okay? This is password protected. This will hold 20 passwords. So your administrator or your boss or whatever can actually take this one unit and give permission to 20 different techs. He would type in his PIN number, and he'd go out and he would change a unit or work on a unit, or do a check or diagnostics or whatever the case may be. It logs an event, and it logs every single event that this does. It timestamps it, dates it, tells you what PIN number did it, as in who signed into this, and it'll tell you what casino mate actually did it, because casino mates are actually tracked by serial numbers also. Now, the program I'm talking about is called Tracer. Real simple program. It runs in the background on Windows. It runs on XP, CE. It runs on all the Windows platforms. It runs in the background, and there's a stereo type plug that plugs into this and goes into your COM port. Now, while it's running in the background, you're just going to have this little stereo plug, hanging somewhere on the desk or wherever the case may be, on the bench. After you hit 6,000 events, this unit's going to shut itself off, and it says you must return it to the administrator. It's going to say you have to download the information because you basically filled up the buffer. So you go in, you just connect this harness to the unit. The computer program already is polling already, goes out, polls this, and says, yes, I got a unit connected. It turns around and sucks the memory out of here and puts it into an encrypted database. So now you can print it. And you can print it by you can sort and print by so many different options. It's incredible. I can turn around and say, all right, I want to know what serial number this is. Okay, the serial number on this is 537. I can go into and do a report. I want to know everything that 537 did. It'll tell me everything it did by date, who signed into it, and what they did to what validator by serial number. It logs it all. And it's good because you can actually export all that stuff to Excel spreadsheets if you wanted, in case management wanted it, or in case the slot manager wanted to give it to his bosses. He could actually pull it out and put it into graph form. You can put it into any type of Excel. If you can put it into Excel, you can manipulate Excel into graphs of any type. So it is really powerful. This also will allow you to do all your diagnostics. So I'm going to sign in, and I've got 20 users in there, so I know all the passwords. Well, when you first get the unit, if you get it out of the box, password's going to be 1111. I recommend it that you hook it up to Tracer and you reassign your passwords.
That would be a good idea.
I absolutely recommend that. Okay. Problems in the game itself. The only problem I have ever seen so far, which I would probably write this down somewhere because you're not going to find it in a manual. If you have a validator in the game and the light is orange, and you go into your diagnostics and you say, I want to do a coin test. No problem. You go into diagnostics, light turns green, you feed a few coins through it, works great. Then you take the unit out, the machine out of test, and you try to go online with the game, and the game all of a sudden gives you an orange light, and you cannot get it to enable, no matter what you do. Even if you go into your diagnostics and it says, yes, the validator is enabled, everything's ready to go, and it's still orange, that means that your RAM held in error, and it will not let go of it. But there's going to be a trick to clearing your RAM. If you clear your 2 RAMs, and it still stays orange, you're going to have to clear your E squared. As soon as you clear your E squared, and then you get your clear chips out and you get your other chips back in, everything's ready to go, this unit will come right back. It's because your RAM actually held in error and it wouldn't let go of it.
You're talking about the machines.
So I'm talking about the machines. There's nothing you can do to this. You really can't change memory on this. You really can't do anything. There is 2 types of software that goes in here. It's a config software, which is all your coin signatures and all your spreads. The other software that gets downloaded in the same package is your operational software. That's what controls everything in the timings. Any questions so far? Because you're going to start seeing these on your floor more and more and more.
I got a question. With alternate size coins, has the machine's optics for coin in below it?
Yep, you're talking the AB optics on an IGT.
I was wondering how it controls the drop to where it's not going to be bouncing around going in there.
It's where the sensors are located. And actually, they made it compensated where your actual chute is actually on a slant like this. So your bounce is going to get minimized lower and lower and lower the more it goes down the chute. That's why your optics are down at the bottom of that chute. And you have an AB optic. The way it reads them is A, AB, no, A and B, then B. And if it sees them in reverse, it's going to see B, and then BA, and then A. That's how they're doing their coining. But with this actually in there, it's called a VAX system. IGT has the choice right now to either go with us sending the signal directly to their game board, or they can go through their VAX system. Their machine was already designed, so they went through their VAX system. So actually, we're issuing a credit to the game saying, yes, this is absolutely a valid coin. There is no doubt about it. But it's up to the game to issue the credit to the meter. And that's going to come from your AB optics on an IGT. Now, other OEMs, which we're working with all the OEMs right now, the other OEMs, a lot of them don't want to even use the diverter, even though we have a diverter that will snap right onto the bottom of this, and this controls it. I mean, the machine tells this what to do, but this actually controls the diverter. Also, we have reject optics and accept optics, which could also be used to directly replace the AB optics that you would find in a chute. But that's up to the manufacturer. That's up to the manufacturer. But we actually have the capability of doing it, with no doubt.
But yeah, obviously, IGT is working smoothly.
Right now, IGT in the States right now, we've product that we've sent to them is somewhere in the 40,000 piece area. Doesn't mean you're going to see them right away, because it all depends on how fast your casino or your property orders games. But I can guarantee you, if you're going to start seeing them. Because I see them out in the field right now. And a lot of people don't even know they're there. They open the door up and it's like, all right, what the hell is this? I don't have no documentation on it. I don't have anything. Call the manufacturer. Then you're going to look at it and you're going to see Microcoin. And you're going to try and call Microcoin. They don't exist. Because Microcoin is just the name of the product. That's the actual model name. So that's why I wanted to make sure that you knew all the contact information is on the front of your cheat sheets. So you're not going to need a business card unless you really want one. Other than that, all the contact information is on the front of those sheets. Yep, right on the bottom there on the bottom. You should have all the web address, my name, you should have everything.
The main actual system's not on that conveyor or anywhere?
Nope.
Do that on purpose.
It's kind of hard to figure that one out, because I don't really have a good answer for that.
Kind of lame. I mean, if I have a product, I really want to know who made it. Exactly.
Well, we own the company who made it.
And when I want to complain, I want to know who to complain to.
I want that 1-800 number on there.
You'll absolutely complain to that person on that sheet. And you'll be getting me on the phone, so don't yell too loud. So far, that's really about it, unless you guys got questions. Other than that, I'd like to have a couple people come up so they can play with this handheld, because this is pretty much the easiest part of the whole system. The validator itself, you really can't do much with. It's pretty well bulletproof. Well, can't say that. It's pretty well maintenance-free. It's a better way of saying it. Handheld is $499, which is still cheaper than buying all the test equipment that you see for a lot of other OEMs. Plus, it's portable. You can go right to the game. Or,
Coin that gives a test stand is $1,000 just as it is.
and then you have to have it on a bench, and you usually don't bring it out on a cart to the floor.
But I think that's cool that if jurisdictions change, it is possible for you to have to take the nickels.
Absolutely. Well, in Montana, we have it taking everything on that label. Anything on that label, anything that's on this label is programmed in there. Right, and what they're doing is they're not sending it to a hopper. They're sending it to the drop. And then they run that through a big sorter in the back room. Yeah, but they're still taking all the coin. And that's another revenue that some casinos don't want to give up. And a lot of casinos are going back to, because they're starting to see a revenue loss in their coin. They're still doing ticket in, ticket out, because they're not dispensing coin.
Coin in, take it out.
Yep, coin in, ticket out.
I mean, anything in, take it out. That's the deal.
That just makes too much sense to me. I mean, why would I turn around and say I don't want to take your coins? I mean, for all I know, you could have $3,000 in quarters in the trunk of your car, for all I know. Why don't I want to take that money? And a lot of the casinos are actually going back to it. They like Tito, there's no doubt about it. But they're starting to see that they're losing money on coin because nobody's using it. And there is actually more of an advantage to taking coin. There's no advantage to dispensing coin, but taking it in, there's definitely an advantage.
Yeah, our competitors are in bad shape.
I can guarantee you can go almost anywhere in any one of these casinos in all of Las Vegas, including Reno, Mesquite, Laughlin. You can go into any one shop and see at least 50 comparators sitting in a box in a corner somewhere. Guaranteed.
I have a nice photograph, big giant box compared.
Every shop got
Every shop does. And matter of fact, some shops, I'll have more than one shop. They have one that's usually a dungeon somewhere where they just store all their garbage. And they'll have big boxes in their regular shop, and then you go to their dungeon, and they turn around and have another 4 or 5 boxes. These will stay in your machines for years before you even have to work on them. In most cases, the only time you have to work on it is somebody pulls it out or drops it. Or if they really manhandle the connector and they break a pin, or if they break a connector.
See, the security of it's really a big thing too, is because like a floor people in attendance can sometimes catch on to that sensitivity dial.
They can't touch this. Well, these actually go into many applications.
So if it's rejected, those crank it up.
I know. And it'll take washers,
Yeah, exactly.
depending on how far the coil's out. Yeah,
There are some casinos that they find a floor on with a screwdriver.
they fire them.
Floor on, I like that.
They fire them. Oh, well, actually, I was there once when they took all the screwdrivers away from them. Yeah.
New term for it.
But the unit is real straightforward. But if you want to come up here and you want to actually play with it and see how you can turn coins on and off, because I know it's kind of hard for you to really see. Plus, it's a lot easier when you got this thing in your hand and you're playing with it.
Any other questions?
There's nothing you can do to break it, so don't be afraid.